Day 3 of learning our pentatonic scale shape patterns in under a week. If you missed day 1 and day 2, then you missed how to build the entire pentatonic scale shape without the guitar across the fretboard. If you missed day 2, then you missed how to put and play the root notes of the bass scale pattern. This is by using and placing these pegs into the fretboard escalator. What we're going to build now is we're going to build the extension to the left, which I call the twins. So what I'm going to do is pop in the twins pattern that you should know in your head already. It's 2, 2, and 2. I quit calling it the twos because my whole point of not calling these patterns by numbers is to not confuse people with the numeric system of intervals and the Nashville numbering system. So what I've done here is I've put the root note, I've put the extension to the left. But what we're missing is the root notes. We can see we've got root notes in red here. And if you look up above, we've got another fretboard escalator, and I've got all of the intervals shown in here. So the 6th interval of the major scale is a minor. So that's why we look for the number 6. Don't worry so much right now, but everywhere you see a number 6, you're going to see a red dot. So I'm going to find my number 6 here. And now when we went to the right, it was 2 strings down and 2 frets over got me my root note. When you go to the left, it's actually 3 strings down, 1, 2, 3, and 3 over, 1, 2, 3. That gives you your root note. So there we go. We found the root note in our twins position. So there's 2 ways to do this. We just practice this. We can practice this pattern now, if we want, in the pentatonic shape. So you line your fingers up. Hopefully you can still, I'm still on the screen there. I start with my middle finger. In this position, it was 1 finger per fret, and we're lucky we got to start on our first finger. In this position, we start with our middle finger. Because, again, 1 finger per fret, but I've got another one coming up here, so I'm going to start with my middle finger here. Now, these are just finger positions for when you're learning the shapes. Once you start playing, you can use whatever fingers you want, because you might need more fingers behind it for a bend. So don't worry about that. This is going to just help you learn your shape. So we're going to play through this shape. Okay, keeping 1 finger per. I'm going to go quicker because you can practice this at your own pace with a metronome. So the other thing I did on the previous video was root notes. Okay, find those root notes. It's super important that you remember where they are. Look at your string and know that these are all A's. A, A, A. A, 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 A. Okay? And now you could go through like we did on the other one. We're going to pause we should start on a root note. Pause. I'm going to keep going up the scale. Okay, back down. Okay, it's important to make those pauses, okay? Because that's what the scale, that's what makes the scale what it is. If you start on a different note, you start getting into modes, we're not going to talk about that. It's too confusing. So there is our twins position. Well, what if we add that to the full, so what we're calling as full as we are so far? We've got the bass position with the twins. So now you can go from one position to the next. So now if I'm going to start here on my middle finger and I've got my pinky, which finger should I use if I were to come up into this position? You want to use those same fingers that you used on the bass position. So middle finger, pinky, and if I move up into this position, I'm going to use those fingers that we used before. So, and if you wanted to go into that note, you're going to have to slide that pinky up. If you're going from here, you either slide her up or you pick it up. Like that. 2 different feels there, right? Okay, So say one string at a time, go through moving from one position, the bass, back to the twins now. So let's say we're here. What am I going to do when I slide down from here to here? Well, moving to your middle finger is going to be pretty awkward, but if you're sliding. But if you're not sliding, there's a good practice. Now, changing my fingers, right? So now I'm ready in this position. Okay, so we moved from the twins to the bass, from the bass to the twins. So do that for the next string. So you know your string, it's the same fingers here for the next two of the twins. And then when you move into the bass, you're going to want to go and switch to that finger, because that's the guy that played that note last time, right? So you're here on your pinky and you switch to your ring finger. So once you have your fingering down nailed here, try and keep it the same. And if you can't, that's okay. It's just gonna probably help you remember, because if you, let's say I came in here like I did just a second ago, and then I switched to that one. Let's say I stayed here. Well, my brain might think, oh, well, is that where, like, why do I have my pinky there? I wasn't even playing my pinky in this scale position. So that might confuse you. So that's a good practice thing to do, switching between positions and trying to keep the same fingering. So again, I'll go over the fingering for the bass. It's pretty easy. You start with your it's one finger per fret. You start with your first finger. For the twins, you're starting with your middle finger. Okay, find those root notes. Okay. That is day 3, I think. So day 3, you can do these one after another, obviously, or you can do them once a day. But I think you need to spend some time with each shape, spend some time moving back and forth to each shape. I wouldn't go straight to the extension to the right if you're not feeling confident. Or if you do, then just come back and review it. Come back and go, okay, how do I move? Okay, that's how I moved, right? Okay. Right, I have to change to my ring finger here. Okay. Right? Okay. Oh. And now if I go from here and I gotta move into this shape again, I have to change to my ring finger, right? From my pinky to my ring finger. Now I'm set up. Okay, back to here, same deal. Ring finger, right? Here I'm back to my middle finger, and then if I want to move into this shape, I've got that pinky, but the pinky goes way up. This time you get to keep the pinky, right? So now if you don't want to use your middle finger here and you want to do this, that's fine. I find that to be a stretch unless you're down here. So if you want, just be consistent. I don't care what you do. What the point is that you're consistent. So for me, it's a middle finger start, and then slide up. Whoops, slide up and change to the ring finger. I think you got it. Well, let's go to day 3. If you like the fretboard escalator, go to my link in bio. You can buy a Circle of Fifths dial if you want to support me. Also go to the Kickstarter for the fretboard escalator, or you're never going to see one in reality. So day 3 done. Let's go to day 4.